All right, so let's continue with today's video. So what is a passive suicidal ideation? Passive suicidal ideation is when a person desires death but has no specific plans to commit suicide. If an individual is experiencing passive suicidal ideation, their fantasies, all right, I'm talking about all negative fantasies, all right, they're irrational, pessimistic, negative fantasies may involve dying in their sleep or having a fatal accident. So such individual who are suffering from passive suicidal ideation, they will talk on such negative lines. Other people, they will be in shock that why such people is talking so rubbish, so negative. But you have to understand that such people then is suffering from a passive suicidal ideation. Now let's proceed further with this particular topic. See, you have to understand one very important thing. When I say it is passive suicidal ideation, passive doesn't mean it is harmless. It is extremely harmful, because you will understand that such people, they are talking about so much irrelevant, it's not even irrelevant, it is completely negative things. So in no way passive suicidal ideation is harmless. As per the medical world, as per mental health, the terminology or the term that is used is referred to as passive, because here, as I had said, unlike suicidal ideation, passive suicidal ideation, individual, they think about it, but they do not have an active desire to commit the final act. But in suicidal ideation, individuals, they in some way or the other, they are thinking about that particular negative act, all right, that act and the act of committing suicide. But in passive, again, the individual, such individuals, they do not think about the act of committing suicide. They might talk about irrelevant things. They may have certain, like all of these unreal fantasies, unreal thoughts entering into their mind, which they can, or which they normally, talk it out. They normally express it to other individuals. So let's proceed. Such train of thoughts, like people who is or who are suffering from passive suicidal ideation, such train of thoughts which are entering such individuals' mind has the potential to make such individuals more likely to put themselves in harm's way. Even if passive suicidal ideation appears to be fleeting, all right, it's not active, the risk of a suicide attempt will still be there. You cannot completely negate it out. You cannot completely eliminate the risk out, all right? So the risk of a suicide attempt, that is for an individual who is or who are suffering from passive suicidal ideation, is again very much real. The line between passive and active suicidal ideation is quite blurry. The transition from one phase to the other can happen slowly, or it can happen very suddenly, and it is not always obvious to the observer, all right? So while someone who are suffering from passive suicidal ideation might admit to wishing to die, they may deny plans or they may deny making plans to do so. No one, still, you have to understand what I'm trying to mean. You have to understand this very seriously, all right? No one can ever predict, or no one could ever predict with 100% certainty if someone will or will not take their life, that is, committing suicide from before. Even trained mental health professionals cannot predict who will commit suicide, when will that particular person commit suicide. This cannot be predicted. That is why you need to take, this is exactly the reason why you need to understand the symptoms, warning signs, threats of suicidal thoughts, suicidal tendency, that is suicidal ideation, passive or active. In a very, very serious way, you have to understand this. You have to be very cautious. You have to be in your toe, right? You have to be absolutely active whenever you observe or whenever you come to know about individuals who are demonstrating such signs and symptoms. So that is the reason why I am sharing all of these information to you in the most best way I can, in the best detailed way I can. I'm sharing it with you, all right, through these videos. It is to be noted that suicidal thoughts, suicidal tendencies, suicidal ideation, and even attempted suicides, they take an emotional toll in an individual's life. They take an extremely negative mental health toll in an individual's life. For instance, not even only emotional, mental, it can even be physical. For instance, an individual may be so consumed by suicidal thoughts that they cannot function normally in their daily life, in their daily day-to-day life. Also, many attempted suicides are impulsive acts, during a moment of crisis. But you have to understand that such attempted suicides, all right, or you can say the failed attempted suicides are, or they can leave such individuals with permanent and serious injuries such as organ failures or even brain damage. Any physical injuries, physical harm can befall on such individuals, and they can be suffering from them throughout their life. So you have to take a note of this. All right. So this is what I wanted to discuss in this part. In the next part, I will discuss about what are the causes for suicidal ideation, suicidal thoughts, suicidal tendencies. All right. I will discuss about the very, very important causes in the next part of the video.